Greetings and welcome. And thank you for stopping by here on YouTube Live. Or if you're not stopping by live, just thank you for stopping by here on YouTube at The Real Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope y'all doing wonderful. Hope y'all doing well this wonderful, tasteful, tantalizing, uh, all the T words Thursday, wherever you are on the globe, as it's originally airing on April the 14th, 2022. Anything that you need to know about me should be in my description box. And if you are wanting and curious to know more about who I am and what we do here at Bloom from Within Love, I invite you to go to my YouTube homepage and go ahead and go, a browsing. Check out some of the various playlists and so forth that I have there for you to check out. Now, we're in the full moon energy prelude. Tomorrow is going to be the full moon in Libra, considered the pink full moon in Libra position. And it's highlighting partnerships, relationships, things of that nature, right? Full moon is always about release, at least for me. It's about potency, it's about power, it's about completion. And so she was mentioning that she being a young lady that wrote something about that in terms of her research on it. Um, in this particular full moon, it's granting an energy where we could either release things so we can lean more into peace and calmness and creating healthier dynamics, or we stay on the path of tumultuous, conflicty, toxic types of connections. And so I just want to let you guys know, invite you all, if you're really sensitive, that you may be tender. So if you can give yourself, um, hold on one second, turn this down. If you can give yourself some time and space alone today, okay? And I know that everybody's situations are different, but it's imperative because you're going to be tender. You may be a little bit more agitated. If you're a woman and you're still having your menses, if you're super synced into source in the universe, you may be about to have your cycle. I mean, I can relate to that because I synced up with moon. So I'm in my zone right now. Literally, may start now or tomorrow. Not that you guys need to know that, okay? Because I managed to get in sync. And so another reason why you want to just be more delicate and compassionate with yourself, try to avoid unnecessary fights with people, okay? Unnecessary, because you do have to live, you do have to work, you do have to interact and exchange. And so just do the best that you can to try not to feed into the things that maybe people that are in the lower vibration, or people, going through their own things, or unawakened or karmic, whatever, so that you don't find yourself being pulled into it. Um, and so that you can balance out, because this is about letting some things go. So I invite you guys, if you're not into the official moon rituals, I'm inviting you to, get with yourself, get alone, get in nature somewhere, somehow, get quiet and still with yourself, because this is where the revelation comes. The stillness is in the silence. It's in the silence. But we have to get there. If you're not used to meditating or sitting in stillness regularly, it may feel challenging, because you're going to hear all of the chatter of the mind, okay, and surroundings and so forth. Because not everything is yours. There's something else I've learned. Not everything, not everything, okay? Especially if you're empath, you know, um, evolved soul. Not everything. Some people are sending you, their energy, projecting their energy, and you're around things. So keep that in mind too. But as you sit today, giving that stillness. If you're into like yoga meditation practices, that helps. Using the mudras, earthing, breath work meditations, nature walk meditations, like whatever you use to help you. Then, once you've gotten there, once you got yourself in a state of release, relaxation, stillness, and then take note of what comes through. And then you may want to jot down everything you feel as it pertains to partnerships, romance, love, relationships, since this is highlighted in this full moon, that you feel you're ready to let go of. Cords you want to cut, things about yourself you are ready to release, belief systems that have led you to live a lifestyle of certain types of partners, character, in terms of what you bring into connections, the things that you want to see different about yourself, attitudes, pains, past wounds, any and everything. Just write it out and don't judge yourself. Set some intentions of release, okay? This is going to help you. And then after you do that, set the intentions of the next 30-day moon cycle, right? After the 3 days after tomorrow, what you would like to see manifest in your life in terms of love and romance and partnerships and connections, right? Write what you desire, write what you're hoping for, what you're expecting, right? And try to write it in the form of it's already happened or in the now. Just be very creative and very open how you're guided. And this is going to help you to kind of get through these phases of the moon, as well as, if you're into like the spiritual baths, I love those. Water is an excellent releasing agent. Essential oils, whatever suits your fancy. You don't have to be super deep. You don't got to go spend $1,000,000 or anything like that. But, whatever you feel is going to help you. All right. So I just wanted to share that really quickly first about this full moon. And that's coming tomorrow. And ways that you could assist yourself and prepare yourself in a more gentle way, and then to be able to release everything that you're ready to release. Now, as for the title that you see, it says, This Happens. This happens, right? So I was guided to share something that actually happened on my journey. So this is going to only resonate for a select few, and I do really mean that, a select few folks out there. And if this is not for you, I take no offense. I'm not here to project that onto you. Anything that I say or share here, because essentially you are your own, you are the captain. And so if this is not for you, just simply bypass it. I'm not offended, okay? One thing I've learned on my own personal journey is just because I've resonated with certain aspects of what a particular reader or what a particular healer or figure has said or shared, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be resonating with every single thing, okay? Because we're all on different paths. It doesn't mean that we're going to resonate with every single thing, but it doesn't negate or nullify the parts or the aspects that actually does. So, and I'm saying that to say, you don't have to worry about a person like me. I get that. I don't expect that even my viewers or followers and subscribers are not going to, resonate with everything that I say. So again, respect. Just simply, come back to another video, the ones that kind of lean more into what's really resonating with your own self. And, oh, what's this right here? Wait, hold on, you guys. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So now with that being said, this is about the twin flame journey. Those who truly know for certain that they came as an ascended soul and on some type of a high level soulmate, partnership journey, yada, 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 yada. Starseed, earth angels, things of that nature. Okay. But it could apply differently to you as well. So again, just take what resonates. But I'm guided to share something that actually happened to me and my situation. Okay. And it's to not only free myself by shining the light, but it's designed to free and empower those of you who are in very similar types of experiences. Okay. To encourage you and empower you in that way. All right. So, my twin flame journey, this is an aspect of something that took place. I already mentioned to you guys the second time me and my counterpart broke up was back in, Jesus Christ. It was back in January 2021. Okay? And from there, a whole lot happened. From there, Bloom from Within Love really began to bloom. From there, I really, really began to heal more and more deeply, and so forth. I let go. This is when I finally surrendered my counterpart. Okay, I know that we always say we surrender, and we want to surrender, or we claim we surrender, but the surrender in itself is only when we're actually doing that. We're no longer panting and clawing. We're no longer chasing. We're no longer trying to make something work. We're no longer willing to lower our standards or accept less than. This is when you know you're really in true surrender. Okay? You let go, you honor yourself, and you move on and you heal. Okay? It's not that you don't feel. It's just that's surrender is letting go. Okay? It's when you stop trying to make something work. When you stop trying to convince somebody, when you stop trying to connect, when you stop, trying to, project energy or frequency or even characteristic traits onto somebody that really don't hold them. Okay? Or a situation. That's what real surrender is. So that was when I surrendered entirely. Because we had broken up twice. That was the second time. So this is when I saw my own personal growth expand by the multitudes, but Bloom from Within Love expanded by the multitudes. But ironically enough, side by side with all that expansion that happened for me, the healing, the expansion, side by side was equally weird, toxic, crazy shit that you only see in the movies. Okay? Just weird phenomenon that only those that are actually literally involved up close and personal would even know. So a long time had passed, right? My counterpart was, used to follow me incognito in social media. Okay. In my particular case, again, I think I've mentioned that my counterpart had more than one karmic. He had more than one. Because we always go the karmic in these readings and so forth, talking about the person that they be with or go towards that accept them in low vibration, blah, blah, blah. But in his case, he had several. Okay. And then I had mine. Now, the twist in our story is not going to be everyone's story. The twist in our story is that my karmic was actually, one of my karmics was actually his karmic lover. One of my karmic family members was one of his karmic lovers. Isn't that interesting? My karmic sister was one of his karmic lovers. The second time we got back together, I feel like this is when this stuff had already started happening and playing out at some point when he and I got back together, specifically with my sister. I want to say that he possibly started dealing with her when we when we were together the first time and we posted our relationship being together. Okay, because she's my karmic, one of my karmics, and she's, they troll, they cyber stalk you. So she watches my everything because she wants to be me. She mimics, it's it's very, very creepy, which is one of the reasons why if ever I have to, I will get a restraining order. I surely will. I don't have a problem with that. Like, on her and anyone who's connected, that could be possibly operating from that same kind of energy. So, I believe that they had started connecting behind my back before we broke up the first time. Okay. Right after we posted our relationship, because right after we posted our relationship is when things really got super crazy. Right? He started being even more extra weird because he was already in his shadow. He was already in darkness. So it got super more crazy. So they started connecting before we broke up the first time. Okay. Now, so unbeknownst to me, okay, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that back then, okay, but now that I'm in a different place, I do know it's everything came out in the wash. When I be saying to y'all, because see, I don't say everything all at once, so people really don't know to the fullness of what I know or how I manage to find certain proofs and things like that, so I don't reveal all the time. But when I'm guided, then I come back and I'll go ahead and reveal pieces of what they allowed me to find out or know. So, because, like I said, that weird, creepy energy of my sister, that obsession, the moment we posted that we were together was the moment her hunt really began. And because he was, like I said, he wasn't right. He was already unawakened. He was in his shadow. He was, he had been reared in Sodom. You know what I'm saying? So, and I triggered him. See, the thing about the twin flame journey is that was the role, that's the contract. But when people don't want to do it, it makes them feel some kind of way. So this is why that headbutting is initial. After the initial intensity, then there's like this, whoever's not awakened is this resistance. But if you're in the narc energy really deeply, then you try to take a vengeance, okay, on the person that's actually in their divinity. And that's exactly what happened with me. So he connected to my karmic sister is was one of my counterparts karmic lovers, because he, like, again, I'm gonna keep reiterating, he didn't have just one. Okay. And they had already started collaborating and doing things, okay, right before we broke up the first time. That's why things got weird and haywire. She was the one that was one of many that was trying to guide him and acting like a friend and, being his cheerleader and trying to act like, oh, da da da, which is sick in itself because, I look back at that, I'm like, they really didn't see. I wonder, I'm like, they didn't see how weird or sick that is, somebody talking to someone's sibling behind their back to be consoled. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, because, he wasn't, they both had ill intentions. They both were lusty. They both were always seeking and searching. She targeted him. This was a part of the plan, unbeknownst to him. Now, that's what's funny. He could have thought that he was doing something, but unbeknownst to him, he was her target. And not because she was in love with him. He was her target because of how he came here and because of him being connected to me. It was all about me. Okay. So and essentially we broke up. And then the first time we broke up, weird shit was happening then. They were doing spells, all sorts of weird shit was happening to me. They were stalking me then. They were calling me and doing weird shit from burner phones. They had their friends and associates do it. They were, cyber stalking my social medias then. Okay. And just doing all this weird, crazy shit. But what he didn't know at that time is had put spells on him to begin with. So it was almost, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. Then, so let's fast forward, okay? This is how they initially connected. So they both knew. This was not a situation where, it wasn't a situation where, oops, just so happened I ended up dating, you know, someone that I dated sibling. And if anybody is buying that, they're disillusioned. Because that is not what happened. That whole thing was planned. Okay. So motivations were a little bit different. My counterpart's motivation was different. Okay, not that it was good, but it was different. His motivation was more about, first of all, just lusty, because at that time and back then, essentially that's it. You know, the lusty and who can benefit, who get shit. That was the the ultimate drive back then. Aside of that, he was pissed at me. I triggered him. See, and it's in the subconscious. I triggered him. Okay. Because as I was dating him initially, I was still healing and I started elevating. So he started watching this happen, and I was trying to assist him in the role that divine feminine holds. But see, back then it was he was looking at it like, oh, this is foolishness. This is, how people, narrow minds are. I'm just going to say it like that: narrow-minded, 3D, limited, uneducated. When it comes to that type of stuff, just very surface level type people. Or only religion based on the programs that's presented in the matrix. So that's a whole nother video. Now, so I didn't know at that time with the initial breakup, okay, about, how this was all being planned. But the first time we were together, the moment it was posted, and that's when he started getting more and more crazy and weird, which is going to be atypical when people are connecting with lunatics, karmics, okay? The narc met the super narc. And guess what? The super narc is actually my sister. Y'all probably thought I was going to say the super narc was him. Nope, it's the other way around. Because she was more sophisticated. She was older. She was more experienced. Okay. And not only that, she'd been a narc longer than him. And her shit was, what I'm saying, whoop, he ain't a karmic. Now, he defaulted himself. What you suffer when you connect to these kinds of people and you believe into their bullshit and you stay in their energy and you keep protecting them, you stay connected to them, keep going back to them, then it fucks you up. And this is what happened to my counterpart. Okay. So he manifested me like they were collaborating together. See, like I said, I don't reveal everything that has been revealed. They were collaborating together, okay? Because under her spell, he had been convinced by her, okay? In terms of who I was, who I wasn't. She did that swap and switch. You guys hear me talk about that Ursula C. Witch swap and switch to get him activated to come against me as his enemy. That's what she did. She activated him to come against me as his enemy. She projected her energy towards me in other words, that she was me and I was her, and it was the other way around. So in his low vibration, this is where their collaboration came to come against me, to try to destroy me, to stalk me, to pay other people to stalk me, to try to set me up, to, create all these other profiles with my name, with my picture, stealing my content, what I'm saying, making nasty comments and threats on my social media. And when we got back together the second time, this stuff was still happening. Okay, I just didn't know it. This stuff was still happening. All right. Then, towards the very end, because see, this is why, remember how I told y'all I was in my Hioka energy, and a Hioka reflects the person that they're dealing with, their ways. So if you're activated in the Hioka and you're dealing with your own trigger, you're going to actually flip their energy. So if they're standing in your face and they're lying, right? If they're lying and being deceptive, then they're going to experience deception. So what ended up happening was that in this whole dynamic, this is the cost of being sneaky, isn't it? What ended up happening was, since everyone was thinking that I had no knowledge about what they were up to, and there was one thing that I did particularly, there is one thing, okay, that my karmic sister used to her advantage, but that my counterpart didn't know. It was the energy that he was giving was being reflected to him because he was being deceptive. He was lying. He had been collaborating with her behind my back that whole time. Okay. So you're not going to get truth. You're not going to get a confession. You're not going to get any of that. He didn't get any of that from me because what he himself was doing was wrong exponentially, as well as, my karmic sister, right? So, that's a whole nother segment. We've already talked about that. Now, let's fast forward, because see, this is when we got ready to break up the last time, right? So like I said, I grew by leaps and bounds. I healed by leaps and bounds. I surrendered it by leaps and bounds. I surrendered it, right? It didn't matter to me anymore, right? I said my last pardon, my departing shit, you know what I'm saying? Because old bloomy bloom, even then, even back then, my last, ending statement. I was like, oh, you going to shut it down? Okay, I'm fencing the, oh, really? I sure did. I'll never forget that day. I was like, oh, he going to hear this one way or the other. I don't care. He going to hear it and his hoes. In this particular situation, my sister. I said, they going to hear it? I sure did, boy. But I'm laughing now. I could laugh now, y'all, because it's been a long time. So just hang in there. Now, after I did that, after I did my initial, when you do that initial breakup, that initial thing, and you have, your emotions, your feelings, and your response. After that, I let it go. Just like that, I said, enough. My guys were already on it. They were guiding it, right? They were equally guiding me to let go of my karmic sister and family. It all came together why I felt the need to do that, because they were all collaborating behind the scene, but yet kept trying to call or send messages here and there, okay, like they weren't up to nothing. They were up to something the whole time, okay, the entire time. But my guidance was cut all the asses off, cut them off. They're not sincere. They're full of envy. They're karmics. They're full of hate. They're full of jealousy. Cut their ass off. They're up to no good. They're always strategizing and planning and plotting against you. Cut these motherfuckers off. They doing some super duper foul thievery shit. Cut their asses out. So that's why I did it back then, okay? the second time we broke up. And they all became more and more activated and triggered because they had to watch me. The words that I said to my counterpart at that time, before we had I want to say New Year's Eve, okay? New Year's Eve of 2020. The words that I said to my counterpart, they had to watch happen. I told him, I said, those who do harm to others in order to get ahead will have to watch me. Will have to watch people like me. Because he made the statement, can everybody be happy and get something? He said, can everybody be happy and get success and have some shit like that at that time. And I said, well, yeah, sure, absolutely. The problem is, folks spend most of their time trying to steal from others. I said that. I said they spend most of their time trying to steal from others, trying to con, scam, hurt people, trying to take shortcuts to get happiness and success. I'm like, that's the problem. And this is why they end up miserable. And this is why they'll have to watch the very people that they hurt. I said, you'll watch me. They'll watch me. I didn't say you because we were talking about something else. We were talking about other people. That's how we were talking, because we were still together at that time. And so we hadn't broken up yet back then, essentially, is what I'm saying. We hadn't broken up yet back then. And so, he was just like, I can hear it in his voice and his response, like, almost like, because he can feel it and knew. I'm assuming, that because he knew what he was up to. Like, oof, this is a trip. Like, what, because I knew. And see, that's the part that he at that time could never really wrap around his head. So I was like, yeah, people who do kind of weird shit, crazy shit. I was like, people who do crazy shit to me and other people or anybody else. I said something like that. I was like, yeah, they will. And they will watch and they will see. And the funny thing is, that is what they had to do. They had to watch me shine. So it triggered all of them. And this is when they started stalking me. This is when they got in groups and witch covens and secret societies and fucking, whoop. This is when they were investing all of their, stolen monies in high level spell work, paying people to do shit, people who is equally dizzy, if not more, to do shit, people not realizing how they're condemning their own lives. Sad. It's very sad. Because some of these people were their very own friends and family members. Because narcs do not care. They use people as pawns to do their dirty work. They don't care about how it's going to cost and affect these other people or these other people's children or, they don't care. So that is what ended up happening. Okay. My being seen and in social media, this is why they targeted. This is why I had gang stalkers. This is why people kept reporting the videos. This is why it was them. It was them. It was my family. And at that time, my counterpart. Okay. At that time, my counterpart. And aside from them, I also had religious nuts doing it. So my rise triggered my family, my karmic, my family's karmic, my family, my counterpart in his shadow being karmic, religious nuts that feel entitled, because they done been stuck in the same place for the last 1,000 years. And they feel entitled to sit back and watch my shit and to try to project their energy, to come in and say their, their regurgitated sayings. Because I used to get all these comments. Someone that was so unbalanced, they sent a comment that had to be a good fucking shit. I mean, it had to be a 4-page, and it was Bible, right? But it's mental illness. I'll talk about some of this stuff later. You don't have the right to go on people's shit, projecting your shit, right? People that I ain't even dealing with. It's like, who are you and why are you here on someone else's grown motherfucker shit? So I had the religious nuts. I had my karmic family. I had my counterparts, my counterpart in his karmic energy, as well as his dizzy karmic folks. Okay? All cyber stalking, bullying, stealing, lying. Okay? Setting up profiles with my name, my picture, my information. Yes. Okay? On top of that, I had spiritualist competitors in the field that were triggered and jealous because I didn't want to partner with them, or I didn't want to be their friend, or I left their group, or I left their, when I started cutting things away, all these people got triggered. I didn't do nothing to these people except stop dealing with them. That is what I did. Now, in the case of my karmic family and counterpart, they were upset because my rise exposed who they are. So that further triggered them because all of their illusions and how they wanted to appear, came to light. It was like it was fake. So other religious affiliates got triggered because they thought that I'm declaring spiritual warfare and we're gonna get this shut down and we're gonna, like that weird mental illness energy. If they would spend half of that time on healing and getting a life and making their lives happy, they wouldn't have time to do that. But, because you always got some of those. So they call the miracle them being bullies. Okay? They call the hand of God them being bullies. Right? So they would, get all in a thither and huff and puff and get together and, walk and yell and scream and do their so-called warfare and, we're gonna and we declare and, they declared their own doom is what they did. Then, so they were sending distorted energy, but they ain't no God, no none of that. That's not what went down. It was they asses with no nothing ass lives and shit. To have time to be sitting up in groups on somebody else's shit. You have nothing. You don't have a life. You have nothing because you wouldn't have time to do it. So, the next phase of it was they kept, attacking me, sending distorted energy, coming against my stuff. They thought they were given an illusion, as my guides and source told me they would. They were going to be given illusions of brief victory, and then they were going to be proven wrong. And that's exactly what happened. So some of them ended up getting more mad about that because they were trying to show how big and bad they are. And we declared this is going to be done. And we prophesy and whoa, whoa. And, and when that didn't happen, that really made them mad because now they look like a clown. But see, they should have minded their business. See, that's how I feel about that. Even if you don't like some or agree, you should have just kept your mouth shut and mind your damn business. Then you wouldn't be going through that. Should have left me the fuck alone. Should have left me alone. That's how I feel about that. They should have left me the fuck alone. They should have left what I do alone and went somewhere and lived in the world in which they want to create. But they should have left me alone. So, and spiritualists, I had it on their side too. Because they feel like you always want to have that dark energy. Here they come. Bullying, trying to make their statements and, fake star seeds and fucking, trying to project what they are onto the actual star seeds and earth angels. You know what I'm saying? Lunatics. Then, the ones that feel like they're superior because, they, whoop. They feel like they're superior and they first and they've been in the game. They still have that 3D energy, mind, because if they didn't, they would understand things don't go like that when you're dealing with the energy world or the spirit world. We all came with different paths, life numbers, phases and stages and purposes. You can't cookie cut this thing and say because she got on this shit after me, then she shouldn't have more of this and that. That's a dizzy 3D based thinking. I know many beautiful readers and healers that created things well after me, but they have managed to expand beyond me. And that is because that's in their template. That is in their blueprint. I don't know the full get down. I don't know why, and that's not really my business, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm not looking at, they only put their profile, their creation and platform up for only one fucking 8 months. And how is they getting all this and that? And I've been doing this, for 15 years and then not realizing that they're projecting and now attempting to sabotage. Now spreading lies and rumors. Why? They're threatened. They're threatened because they stagnated. They, for whatever reason, okay? But see, the issue, what I'm saying is like, I went through getting hit all around. So I shut everybody out. I stopped trying to be a part of groups. I stopped trying to, get a guru because I realized I was in Sodom. So when I discovered and understood that there was more Sodomite energy than there was any divinity, then I was like, I need to pull back. Let me pull back. The answers are always within. Let me pull back. And the more and more I pull back is the more and more these people got activated and triggered though. Okay? It's the more and more I grew, and then the more and more they, sent their spell work. Okay? Their lies, their rumors, the more and more they stole. Okay? Now, I'm trying to make sure I'm mentioning the things that they want me to say, because there's so much to say that happened between then and this very moment. So, the collaboration between my counterpart and my karmic sister, all of that was formulated around trying to, first of all, steal my destiny, steal my energy. This is why when we came back together, he didn't know, or maybe he did at that time, but because my sister, as I told you guys the other day, she knew who I was before I did. Because she had already started dabbling and stuff, she knew that she was a karmic. Okay? And so both of them being in that lusty, greedy, wanting to, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what they shared in common. They both shared in common a lot of addictions. They both had a lot of addictions and bad habits that they were tied to. Major, especially sex. And oh, sorry. So then it became about trying to ruin me. Isn't that ironic? I did get the proof of all this stuff. I don't reveal it all. I was told I will be revealing in spurts. Okay? Um, I can laugh now, y'all, but you don't laugh when, you don't laugh when you's in the pain. But um, yeah. And in that, she had worked so hard. Let me just say, what happened was, I'm trying to catch where they're taking me here. I told you guys she's obsessed. It's eerie. She always have been. She was stalking me the whole time, doing magic. It was all a plot. It was all a plan. Okay. She's been jealous my entire life. My entire life. I just didn't know the severity. Okay. Level or how sick and far it went. Okay. And so she ended up getting a gastric bypass. She had dated men to pay for several different of her surgeries. Okay. There was one that paid for her liposuction, one of her liposuctions, okay, because I want to say she had ended up maybe 3 surgeries before she got to she had the lipo, then she had to move the fat and put it in the ass surgery. Okay, yep, that's how she got that, for those of you who are wondering. So she had the fat moved to be put in the butt. Then she ended up getting the gastric bypass so she can lose all the weight that she had gained. Okay. That was her way of trying to lure my counterpart and other men, because she had several. When I was around and when I was living with her here and there, when I would stay with her when I was around, she always had a few. Okay. She was in an ongoing connection with a married guy. Okay. That my mom said, well, we know all about that because she's also a karmic as well. But she's the kind that tries to save her own ass and hide and lie and pretend. Okay. But my mom said that she thought my sister was putting spells on Tony as well. And that's how she's done all this stuff. She puts spells on people to get them to do what she wants them to do. And when people don't believe in it, they just don't know why they dizzy as hell. They mistake lust for love. They mistake, you know what I'm saying? But so this is what she used. She started sending him pictures and all of these things while she was acting like she was Sally Sue sweet and wonderful. She was perpetrating like she was successful, not revealing how she managed to get what she got. Okay, not revealing she covered her mental illness. It was projected out. Okay. People didn't catch the thread, including my counterpart at the time. Like, if you're so, like, why, if anybody were to ask you, You hopped all around, yet you were trying to slam your sister about coming out here and not having her stability, so-called air quote, in a year, on top of the fact that you were sabotaging her anyway, yet you're so stable and have all these connects. Why has it been this way? People was too, she was putting blood in people's shit. I mean, when I say she practiced spell work, I mean it, okay? She do. Whether she lying in your face or not, you can buy it. Whoever come on here, you can buy the life you want. Chances are you're probably sitting in some version of some chaos that's been caused because you connected to her. So then, after, okay, so she gets him in through that. See, this is why I tell people, lust will get you. Lust and dishonesty and being driven by money and greed and stat and clout and anger, right? Because it was him wanting to get back at me. He was in his shadow, right? I'm going to show me that you chose a loser and y'all, like, I'm like, because they were coming on my stuff, calling me loser. See, I talk the way I do for a reason. I wasn't bothering these people. The irony at that time was this, okay? Because I'm bringing you guys to things that happened, and I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to the now. I'm referring to past energy, okay? So the irony about the shit, right, that was going on, all that collabing, all that sneaking, all that stuff, it's sick. Oh my God, when I think about it, I'm like, she that down, like that's some being fucked up in the head. Like wanting to, I'm just like, that's all I can say about that. But anyway, so the irony is I went on. See, I hope when you guys come on here, I hope you catch this. They did all of that, right? He didn't know that she was targeting him anyway, and that at the end of the day, she'll destroy him too. Like he didn't know that because it wasn't about him. But, all of that to do all this sneaky shit, to steal, to get whatever, to plot and plan, on his side, to so-called get vengeance and to so-called upgrade, right? I wasn't even caring. I went on. I was not bothering these people. Think about what I'm saying, y'all. I'm telling y'all this now, but try to go back there as I'm telling you about what took place here. I was too busy healing, okay? I was healing, recovering, and building my life. And I was being honored by my spirit guides and ancestors because of it. So, people got to ask the question, well, what's the problem then? And see, that's what I started saying once all my team started exposing things. And then when I took it to another level in a 3D to do investigation, this is when I started saying, like, well, what I'm still kind of puzzled by is what's the problem? But see, this is when they helped me to understand this kind of journey, because I'm like, well, in my practicality, in my practical mind, the earthy part of me, that logical, that thinking like, well, okay, they went through all that to do that, to fuck this one, to be with him, to get him, for him to do that. So, what's the problem then? Why do they feel the need? See, that's where I was going. I'm like, what's the problem? Okay, because they was doing the he and the ha and shit, right? Well, back then, when they had their celebrations and their whatever the fuck, and their escapades and their, what I'm saying, we doing something faking and shit, faking and fraud. But when they had, you know, all of that going, it's like, so then if you so happy, if you're so happy, if you're so successful, if you're so sitting on top of the world, if you're so healed, why are you and your equally disillusioned flying monkeys bothering me? Because, hey, if you feel like you won, right? What's the problem? See, this is where it gets real. And that's what I was telling my guys. I'm like, nobody don't care. I was like, because you can't win when you're doing some fucked up shit. So what you have won is a nice little lifetime of some fucked up shit. A nice little something that's going to surprise that ass when you least expect it. Right? I knew it. I knew that. So I was like, and so I got pissed. What happened with me, and I'm trying to move forward the best I can. What happened with me is I had already healed significantly. I let go, right? I wasn't trying to chase down nobody. I wasn't talking to nobody. I wasn't trying to be bothered. I didn't care. I was gone. I was gone. I'm just being honest. So I got pissed off later in the process because then I'm like, okay, I had to talk to my guys about it. I'm like, they need to leave me the fuck alone. That's what I said. And I was like, I don't even care. I started saying things to my spirit guides and source. I was like, to be honest, I'm like, I know what they did. I know what they stole. I'm aware. I'm aware. But I was like, it's cursed anyway. I handed it over to my team. I was like, it's cursed. I was like, let it, let that play out how it's supposed to. Make it happen. Give them hell. I sure did. You don't get to steal and it's going to be wonderful for you forever. No, it's not. Not from a divine. But I let that go. I wasn't hell bent on. I was like, because that's gonna dwindle, curse, they might go to jail, die, all kind of shit. I was just like, it's gonna be all kinds of hell fencing to come. So I was okay with that part. My fury kicked in because I was like, they need to leave me the fuck alone, or I'm gonna call even a higher judgment on it. Because I don't care, I don't care. People have a right, to do and choose, and that's fine. So I knew it was what it was. I knew the truth about it all, whether they were, telling folks at that time or not, but I knew. So I wasn't hung up the way that folks thought I was. I was pissed at you and your dizzy motherfuckers need to leave me the fuck alone or suffer the fucking consequences. Leave my shit alone. Leave my son alone. Stop fucking with my energy. That is what pissed me off. I was like, they gonna pay harder for that. Leave me and my life the fuck alone. You wonderful. You go around strutting your fake peacock feathers. Leave me the fuck alone. Keep stealing my shit. You gonna go fucking bankrupt. Leave me the fuck alone. Fucking with my son, lunatic mind, a fucking special need adult pure soul, cause you a dizzy motherfucker. sick in the head, leave us alone or pay. That's when I kicked in anger. I was like, get your trolls and your fucking flying monkeys. I suggest it'll serve them motherfuckers well. I don't care who they are. They should have minded their damn business. No peace. No justice, no peace. And I told my guys, I said, no justice, no peace. Because here's where I'm going with that, you guys. If, it was bad enough, they was going to have to suffer karma anyway. But if they would have left well enough alone and just said something like, if it was more based on like they could have tried to portray the people and dizzy, clueless, mindless motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, fell for it. But, if it was really all about, they could have just went on if they wanted to be together and just been together. You see where I'm going with that? Even though they were going to still have to have karma to deal with because of what they did and how they did it. But if they would have left well enough alone, in other words, if they would have, whatever the guides were trying to guide them, if they would have first and foremost left me the fuck alone, left my son the fuck alone, left my bloom from within love the fuck alone, right? They may not have had to suffer the severity that's on them. And for, where they were guided, if they would have followed that part, they could have went on and, kind of lived out the lower side of the karma versus the multitudes of some heavyweight shit now. Because it became more about, not only did you steal and lie, not only did you sneak and be snaky under, and fuck your sister's, you know what I'm saying, man, and fuck your girl's sister. Now you're trying to harm them because they're going on and having a life and creating a life for themselves. And then you want to get your sorry dizzy ass up somewhere and so call yourself talking about some goddamn mental illness. Now you're going to pay. You should have left that woman alone. You didn't have to like her. You should have left that woman alone. You went through all of that to get what you got. You went through all of that to steal from her what was hers. You went through all of that. You did it. Now go on and live your life. Leave her the fuck alone. Leave her son alone and leave her creations alone. You don't want to be woman enough to actually admit and apologize? Well, that's your karma to sit with as well. But it would have served her well to leave me the fuck alone. And her witch coven. Now, let's move this forward. This was all happening, you guys, as I was healing. This was all happening as I was ascending, as I was rising and shining. All this stuff was still going on, attacks on me and my son. Attacks, attacks. And not just on social media. They were sending challenges and obstacles. They were sending death rituals. They were stealing my son's sexual energy. They were tapping into my energy. They were doing all kinds of sick, heinous sacrifice rituals, whether you believe it or not. but then want to stand before a public arena or social medias or anything and act like they're mentally well. And try to project mental illness on me because they traumatized and taunted and bullied and stole and abused me and my son. They were plotting to try to set it up for me to get hurt. They were plotting to set it up for my son. Why? Because they wanted me to hurt. So they figured to get me to hurt, you'd have to hurt the closest things to me, which is my son and Bloom from Within Love. So they commenced to target that. So ask yourself the question, how well and happy are those individuals? How well and how happy and how pure and loving are those types of individuals? All because I went on. As if they feel in their disillusioned mind that I didn't have a right to live and that I didn't have a right to be happy and to create and to be successful. That's mental illness all day long. That I didn't deserve what's mine. So that's what got old Bloomy Bloom in full fire, because that was me defending my right to be here, defending my son's right to be here, defending our right to live a healthy and safe and happy life and not be bullied and stalked by disillusioned, mental ill, so-called healed people. Namely my family and religious nuts. Competitors in the field in their shadow and their ego. Past friends and schoolmates and lovers that I don't want now nothing to do with no more, and they pissed because their life is stuck as fuck out of their free will choices. People who are choosing to stay stuck in the matrix in an organized religious-based energy, in their disillusionment, feeling the right and entitled to go harass and bully someone else, hiding it under spirituality and religion. And the truth of the matter is, they stuck as fuck and miserable as fuck and don't have nothing else to do but to stalk somebody else. So I fought. That's defense. And this is what I'm speaking out about. You have a right to defend. Don't let people, mind fuck you and use the distortions in the Bible that's designed, the aspects of the Bible that's distortion, to keep people in fear and control and to keep people relinquishing their right to be here and relinquishing their right to defend themselves and relinquishing their right to live and speak their truths and relinquishing their right to their own happiness. No one, you speak out against that stuff, okay? No one has a right. I don't care who they are, especially these dizzy narc energies fucking karmics. But nobody has a right to intrude on you. They'll be the main ones crying and barking. Let somebody go in they shit. Let a bunch of spiritualists go trolling on a religious platform. They'd have a heart attack in a minute. You'll start seeing them shucking and jiving and hollering and all sorts of shit and rebuking and so forth. Yet they feel entitled to be able to do it to others. That should tell you something right there. So now, I grew through all of that, you guys. This stuff really happens, okay? I continue to heal. My ancestors continue to fight. These people wanted me stripped, homeless, embarrassed, broke down. They wanted all that so they can put on a fake mask of heroism, okay? So they can get some insurance money off of me and my son's demise or loss and pretend like they're fucking humble and sorry and shit. And then feed off of my energy and my legacy. That's what narcissism is good for. They're the drama kings and queens of the spiritual community. They're the drama kings and queens of the religious circles. They kick you under your foot so you can fall while they reach their hand down to help you so they can take a picture of it and so they can show everybody how wonderful they are. Sick. My guides went to war. My ancestors, to ensure that me and my son was able to be moved into karma waters and to exit Sodom and Gomorrah. But prior to the exodus, something happened with my counterpart. Remember, I'm telling you guys that there were several things that happened between then, when we broke up the last time, and now. So several things happened. My counterpart found out some truths. He went through some crazy shit with my sister. And they went through a breakup. He was still watching me on social media. He would come on my YouTube and even sometimes my my TikTok. And I'm gonna tell you, they're guiding me to tell of two or a few different comments that he made. A few things that happened. Okay. One of the comments he had made on one of my YouTubes, this was back in, I want to say it had to be around maybe August, September-ish, possibly October, but for sure maybe August or September-ish. He made a comment. He was sitting on one of my lives, but he was under a different profile, right? Which, being quite honest, as I look back, that kind of bothers me. It bothered me, because it's like, to me, when people are doing that, they're still afraid. They're still in some lower energy or something. But I knew it was him. So he was on a live and he typed in a comment. He said, "I owe you. I'll be back. I owe you." And I looked at the screen. I said, huh? I said, are you talking to me? Or because I was trying to make sure, because you get so many weirdos, man. And like I said, he wasn't under his own name. So he said, yes, you. I'll be back. And I just kind of played it off because first and foremost, I was live. And, he wasn't under his name. So I was like, oh, I just kind of played it off. But I knew it was something to it. I was like, huh? I was like, oh, Lord. Then after that, something else happened. Okay. Then he made a comment on another video that I did exposing some things about his friends. Okay. I think it was a video where I was talking about, the people that had been bullying and cyber stalking and coming on and making nasty comments on my stuff. And, how people were calling me out of my name. They were, making racist statements and all sorts of stuff. I think that was the video. I can't be for 100, but it was a video I made. He came on, he made a comment. Again, it wasn't under his profile name. And he said, you really are of pure love and light, and don't ever let nobody tell you different. Okay? I was like, okay. Then moving forward, I'm trying to think of how it went in between. Okay, so he eventually called me. This was back then. But he called me from work, a work phone. And, I'm assuming because he knew I was going to know his voice. How do you not know? If you've been with somebody significantly long enough, unless they're disguising their voice purposefully, right? So he calls me from a work number. And, he calls me from a work number. And, he did this spiel, from where he was working at that time. And I felt it. I knew it. But I just went along with the call. Like I played the role with him. Because unless I was like, if he ain't going to reveal, I'm not going to reveal. Essentially, if you're not ready to reveal, then I'm not going to reveal. So he was like, so. And I paused, right? It was interesting because I knew it. I was like, what the hell? And we just went along. We both played along with the fake call, but I knew. And then after that, here's where I'm going. This is what they really want me to highlight. After that, he dropped off the earth again. His energy dropped off the earth in a sense, right? It was weird. Because, see, my sister was practicing spell work. She was thirsty. She was drama. She was still, doing all that. Okay? Wouldn't leave him alone. Doing magic. Getting people to come in cahoots. Doing all sorts of stuff, right? To make sure that he didn't communicate with me. To make sure that he didn't come get back with me. To make sure that he saw me in a certain light. To make sure, like, she was doing high level shit. She had already poisoned him and did a whole bunch of other shit. Whole bunch of shit. So, and, for a long time, she was projecting all this energy off onto me, convincing him, people, and others that I was doing stuff to them because of the field that I'm in. So that's what's sick about that. And this is why they're going to pay even harder. Trying to make it seem like whatever devastation that was going on was me doing something. The devastations that was going on was because she's a karmic whore. And they were doing toxic, malicious shit to people, including me. They were thieves and liars and frauds. But she tried to act like I was casting spells. And people bought into it because of the field that I'm in. And she tried to hide behind a fake Christianity in the 3D, in the light by day. False spirituality and purity. So people bought the shit. Dumb as fuck. Because she was casting spells on their ass too. Some of these people probably died behind being connected to her. These people haven't figured it out. So people got all in a thither to come attack me, and they put karma on their asses. Word to the wise, if people are coming to you and telling you shit to try to get you wild up to do some crazy dumb shit to somebody, you better think about it. Word to the wise, start having a mind of your own to think clearly. The fucked up shit happening to you has to do with who you're choosing to connect your life with. And if you're choosing to connect with distorted, dark witches, distorted spiritualists, distorted religious people, karmic nuts, then chances are all kinds of weird, eerie, crazy shit is going to start happening to you and everything that matters to you. You can believe them squeezing a Bible and crying if you want to. Don't be mad, but don't be mad. See, my thing is, then don't be mad and don't project that shit off onto other people who went on with their lives, ain't nowhere in the vicinity. Don't give a fuck. She lied to him. So after the call, he dropped off the earth. And then he showed up again. So they went back and forth. They went back and forth. And something happened. I don't know what happened with one of those last breakups. I'm sure it was major betrayals, lies, caught her hoeing, caught proof of shit, all kinds of crazy shit, because those situations are crazy. And, he could have removed himself or something was happening, but it was an emergency. He came in, he said, I need your help, please. Made a comment, I need your help, please. And I remember on the video, again, he was under another profile, and I can still sense the energy. And I didn't really know what to say. First and foremost, it's kind of like, well, you're coming in not as you. You're on the public platform. I didn't know what was really expected there. But it's kind of like, I feel like something happened because he didn't listen. He was getting guidance by watching what I do online. And he didn't listen. So he fell into another trap dealing with her. And really, because it's going to always get progressive dealing with these lunatics. It's going to always be progressive. It's going to be sickness, disease, loss, craziness. It's going to always be like that. So I was like, what happened? And because I had been wondering, I hadn't gotten any other weird comments or any other things from him. Because sometimes he would come on and engage and make jokes. He didn't know that I knew it was him, but I did. I did. Sometimes he was coming on flirting. I knew it was him too. So my sister amplified her spell work and their strategies and their plans. So, after that statement, help, can you please help me, help me? And I was like, I hope you're okay. All I can tell you, I was online. I was like, get to your nearest this or contact if you're in danger. I said something like that because I didn't know what the person, I didn't know what else to say. I would get calls all the time, calls and hangups, calls and hangups, calls and hangups, calls, hangups, 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 hangups. And then I wouldn't answer because I'm like, I just don't have time for that energy. It's like, it's either you want to heal, move on and deal with your life and say the things, or you don't. He was being guided by the things that he was watching, and then yet going against his own intuition about it, he kept getting back entangled. So moving forward, fast forward, I believe that what ended up happening, if I move this whole shit for more in the present, more towards the present, what ended up happening is he found out some truths. He spoke some truths. There was some fights. There was other people involved. There was threats. My sister probably lied because a child keeps coming up. And I was like, well, first and foremost, she can't have no children. So I don't know what the fuck she did, or if she's just using that she's got a, well, she don't have any, she only have grandchildren. Her children are adults. So I'm not sure if that she was trying to use that, or if she tried to claim she had a kid, because she ain't had no kid. She can't. Her youngest is in her 20s. So, I was like, I don't know what the fuck. It's a strong possibility with that she did. You know what I'm saying? And that's another level of low. She could have, when people are crazy, they just crazy, man. That's all I'm gonna say. She could have, because she takes pictures, with my niece's baby. That's the last thing that I've ever seen of her. And I'm like, did she do some weird shit? Did she fucking make a deal? It's sad, ain't it, y'all? I was like, did she fucking make a deal? Some dizzy, weird deal with my niece? Get all these people to collaborate and not say nothing so she can get money out of my counterpart? I did. I wouldn't have put it past her. I wouldn't have put it past her. Because she got access to documents and, official documents and stamps and, people who are able to do that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, but some stuff came out, some stuff got exposed. I think he found out about the death rituals. I think he didn't want to do it anymore. I think he found out about the truth about her really being jealous. There was some types of fights and things. I even think there was an altercation. I think he got hurt, like physically too. Because I think it could have involved Tony. It could have involved any other, I'm not for certain Tony, but I know for sure that it could have involved, like I said, she's always got more than one. That's always been her get down. So something could have happened, and there could have been a tussle. They could have threatened him when he started speaking his truth, because they didn't want to lose what? The money, the house, whatever that little, deal was. And I think that's when my counterpart, you know, was starting to get upset or sad or scared. Then she amped her spell work. One of the other times he ended up going back to her. Then he had came on one of my profiles on TikTok, and he said like, and this was him under the spell because she amped it up, right? She used sex magic, all that stuff. The rap that I got on my TikTok, even on here, is the truth. That's about her. Okay? And convincing him that I was his enemy. So he came on one of my TikToks and was like, I don't want Jack, right? But once again, see, people in low vibration are cowardly. They hide behind fake profiles. They cannot show up in their true selves and say their shit. They have to hide behind fake profiles or use their pawns, other people, in their real profiles. They can't do it themselves. Okay? Because they don't want to expose themselves, which is a clear indication to you guys that, people aren't operating in the right stuff. So, and I laughed because I may have said, I may have ended up, because this was a long time ago too. I'm still trying to get forward here, you guys, so hold on. I may have laughed or said something on there because, I was like, who are they trying to convince? And I said something like, if it ain't for you, if this reading ain't for you, it ain't for you. If it ain't about you, it ain't about you. So who are you trying to convince here? You only feel the need to convince when it must be true. It must be true. Because if you know emphatically it's not, then you ain't even worried about it. You're like, ain't nobody worried about that. Ain't nobody, I don't need to prove nothing. But see, that's karmic energy. Karmics want to try to prove fake truth. Right? Go say that you don't want them, and something, because they know that they're not really wanted. They know it's all fuck shit. My sister know. And I laughed at that shit. And I was like, yeah. That's why y'all stalking me, why you call, why you be doing all sorts of shit. Okay. Whatever. I'm living my life. Leave me the fuck alone. Do you, boo. Do you, boo. So now, I'm going to fast forward again to New Year's. I'm going to fast forward to New Year's today. Not New Year's today. New Year's 2022. Okay? New Year's Day 2022. Okay? New Year's Day 2022. So we're getting there, guys. I told y'all. I promise I'm going to get to the future. I'm going to get to the now. So moving to January 2022, New Year's, right? I was on my TikTok. I came TikTok live, right? TikTok live. And it was me doing my normal bloomy thing. I was like, hey, I wanted to send a shout out to all my peeps, the good peeps, right? And let them see my face. I do that every so often to let them see me and interact with me in that way. I don't do it all the time because I understand some other things about energy and some other shit. I'll talk about that on a different video. But so I came on because I was like, oh, we made it, 2022. Woo. We had, had been building it up and shit, building it up in December. We had been talking about it on my videos. I'm like, come on, y'all. We fencing it. Woo, woo. I was hyping everybody up. And so I was like, I got to come on. I was like, let them see me. They need to see me. They need to see me. We need to celebrate. I need to say, hey, I need to send some words of encouragement, or whatever. So I popped on, but they were able to see my face. And I was just sitting there, so I wasn't doing a reading or anything, so I could see who was coming in the room. I could see the screen clearly, who was coming in the room, who was making comments or whatever. And so as I was trying to, get the lighting right and shit and click buttons and figure some shit out. And it was funny a little bit. Um, I ended up looking up and I looked towards the screen and then I saw a comment. It was my counterpart. I saw the comment. He said, and people probably wonder how do people like these, the twin flames be knowing? I can't really explain that, okay? But it was him. And he said, those eyes. And I looked up. I didn't make much of it, but I knew. And see, when I know certain things are happening and there's a lot of people is active, I don't react. And see, this can throw a lot of people off. You won't get a reaction from me in the public like that. I may know and feel it, but I ain't saying nothing. I showed it. I'm nope. So I played it off. I'm good. I'm good at that because I'm in my role. I'm in my vein, right? That's personal. So I just looked, and I think I either said, um, I said thank you or something like that. I can't remember exactly. So that, fast forward between all of that took place, the whole shebang bang, this whole dynamic. Well, he went back and forth with my karmic sister among, some of the other situations that he had. Uh, but he was, following me on social medias and things of that nature. But it got really bad. So you guys, this stuff do happen. People don't be believing that there's a such thing, karmics doing really weird, black magic or satanic groups or blood rituals. And, this kind of stuff is real. And that's what happened in my journey. My karmic sister happened to be happened to be my counterpart's, one of his karmic lovers. That's what happened. And because again, he had to deal with many. He had to deal with a few. He had karmic friends that was a part of all these collaborations. His karmic ex-women, outside of my sister. Okay. Because yeah, look, this shit's real. Sorry. Sorry. And people hate to hear it, but I'm like, look, well, then you don't have to sit and listen to that. It is what it is. But, so he had all of that on top of the heinous shit, he partook in. And even when he amped out of it or opted out, because I'm telling you, stuff happened. And then there was one thing that happened at the end. I became concerned. Isn't that ironic? Y'all may say, you knew they was doing all this crazy fuck shit and spell work on you, blah, 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 but yeah, I'm fully aware. People gonna get what they got coming, y'all. That's just, I promise, especially when they fuck with divine beings. This I know. But the reason I was alerted. I was having all kinds of dreams. I haven't told y'all all the stuff yet. See, people think I haven't told all the stuff. I haven't told all the proofs and stuff that I know. I'm told that I'm going to keep doing it in pieces. So I kept having dreams. He would show up sometimes. Sometimes he would astral travel. I would see him in that form. Other times, it was all, I had dreams of several of his horrors. I'm going to keep it on the 100. I didn't show enough. Had dreams of several of his karmic horrors. Yes, I showed the fuck. I showed the fuck. I was like, motherfucker. And then one time, I had a dream about his dad. I never told that dream. But I did. I had a dream about his dad, man. His dad. And it tripped me out, though. Because I was like, well, what the hell? I may have told the dream. I'm not sure. But yep, I surely did. I had a dream about his daddy. And, but the weird part was it was in their house, the house that I met my counterpart. And what threw me off was that his dad in the dream version, his dad his dad's hair wasn't white. His dad's hair was black and just had like, it was black and it had, so I'm like, how is his hair black? So I was kind of a little confused about that part in the dream because I knew it was his dad, but I didn't know why was his hair not the color that I remembered. And why was his hair cut short? Because what I had remembered, his dad's hair was long and it was it looked white, but white looking. So I was like, I never seen him that way before. And then he looked younger, like a little bit younger. And he opened the door. I don't know if I was astral traveling. Hold on, you guys. I must have been. If it was an astral travel or something. But sorry about that. I was like, well, why am I here? It's almost like I was bought there. That's what the dream felt like I was bought there. And I was at the door. He opened the door and he was smiling. And he said something about, he said very few things. He said, he looked at me and he said, it's okay. But then he had his expression changed. And it was like he was trying to direct me to look at something. So when he did, I followed his gaze. The first thing he was looking at was this girl. It was this girl that was sitting on the floor. It looked like she was packing something, moving something. I don't know who this girl is because, this girl she didn't look like my sister. I mean, it could have been her, but she didn't look like her. She looked like she was blonde. So she was sitting on the floor, packing something, moving something. Then after he showed me that, because the girl even looked up at me. So I'm like, okay, she see me. So this was interesting. Then he showed me my counterpart sitting. He was looking sad and it's something about a guitar or something. Okay. And I was like, oh, I was trying to like put together what's happening. And so at that time, I was wondering if his dad had passed away because I'm like, did something happen to him? Did something happen? And I hate to say it, I hope that that's not what happened, but, it's as a result of connecting with my sister. And that's sad. And I feel like what my sister did was she was probably in the ear of him and his family and friends trying to act like it was because of me, like I did something because we broke up but I had gone on. I went on by my life. I was living, I was fine, and I don't get down like that. you know but people like me are an easy target to people who are narrow-minded and think that the only wicked energy is people who do stuff like this. You're going to find some of the most wicked folks that live the most so-called straight-laced, pristine, pretentious, pompous, so-called pure and holy life, or doing some of the most heinous, wicked shit. That's why people getting fucked up pretty bad, because they're projecting energy and they're falling for the okie doke. And they're attacking all of the wrong people and supporting all of the wrong people. Supporting the very people that's poisoning them. Supporting the very people that was behind deaths in their lives and loss. And attacking the people that did nothing but want to help all these folks. So, yeah, because karmics will do anything for money. They do not have any morals, man. They're heartless. They can only pretend to have heart so that people feel sorry for them, so that they don't have to feel their karma. So I remember I was sad about that, and I was like, I hope that's not happening, when I had that dream. But anyway, moving it again even further, fast forward, fast forward. So he kept getting caught up with that. He kept going back and forth. There was all that spell work. So it was just getting worse and worse. And when I had a revelation, like a little bit, I want to say maybe a month before I left Sodom, I felt some urgency about something, and I was getting flashes of him being beat up. I saw flashes of somebody like stomping on him on the ground. I don't know how true, but a part of me felt, because I felt that urgency. I'm like, did he get into a brothel? Was it behind, because he told the truth, he confessed the truth, and my dizzy karmic family didn't like that shit. They're good for that. My sister and one of my nieces beat up my oldest niece's baby daddy, one of her baby daddies, behind some shit. So they are liable to do that kind of stuff. Okay? I'm just saying. Because people be putting shit past folks, so they be smiling and giving people money and buying tater chips. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the fuck. So when that happened, because I had already taken my hands out, you can't make somebody. What happened with me, I was like, I said, like, team, look, I was done the injustice here. And second of all, you can't make somebody take the advice. You can't make somebody heal. You can't make somebody come out of something that can hurt them. He's a grown man. He's a grown man. He has the right to choose his life as he wish, whether I like it or not, or anyone else like it or not, and the consequences thereof. I can't make him not associate with karmics, whether it's my sister or any of the other dizzy karmics that he had in his life. So my hands was out of it. But I told my guys, this is about a month or so. This had to be at least maybe a month or two before I left Sodom. I told my guides, I said, I will do this. I said, because if there is an injustice in the physical, if somebody has like kidnapped him or fucking, you know, poisoned him and he in a coma somewhere, fucking misery scene and shit, tied up in a dungeon and shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what my people capable of. And that I know what some of them dizzy, especially one of his friends that's got a major crush on him. He dizzy as hell. Extra fucked up. He used to act weird. You know what I'm saying? He acted weird when he met me. You know what I'm saying? It was weird energy. I'm like, uh-huh. Yeah, he up to some shit. He into some weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Some toxic weird shit. So, that obsession and shit like that. So I don't put nothing past none of these motherfuckers being behind, trying to hurt my counterpart in some way. If, when he decided he didn't want nothing to do with them anymore. And I do believe that's what happened. I believe he went from dealing with that, and the times that he did escape, he tried to deal back with one of the women that took care of his kids, baby mama. Like that's what I mean when I say he kept cycling through the karmic women. And then going back and forth with my karmic sister. Okay? And I think at some point, with all the things that started coming to light and truth, and then getting his heart broken and finding out the truth about these karmics, I think a whole lot happened. And he didn't want no parts of it no more. And I think he told my family off. I do. I think he told them about themselves. I do. I think when some shit all came to the light, he told they ass. I sure do. I think he told them, you guys are nothing but a bunch of jealous, petty, evil, wicked bitches. I think he told them that they were mentally ill. Something was wrong with them. They were just jealous. And that he regret that he even dealt with them. He loathed the day. Like, I think he went there. And I think that's why they started attacking him and probably was setting him up, because now, because they never loved. That's the thing about karmics. It wasn't about love. But see, that's the lesson of when you go into stuff for other reasons other than that. And that was the lesson my counterpart was supposed to be. Was supposed to start catching those kinds of lessons even prior to dealing with my sister. That was the reason why his life was fucked up to begin with. And, having not healed, he wasn't dealing with his traumas and shit like that. And he was just piling on addictions. You know what I'm saying? And dealing with karmic horrors that don't mind being the tool for it. Okay? So, he found out about the sacrifices and about the hate and about, the stuff to my son and all of that. And I think he decided he didn't want to be a part of it, and then commence their next strategy to either poison him, to get him caught up in jail, or to get him in a mental, to get him labeled as mental and in some kind of a home or power of attorney or some shit to be given over. These people are sick. People will do any and fucking money for control and money and to get vengeance and to take from or try to so-called hurt a divine. And it's indicative that they never loved him in the first place. My sister could have been trying to talk about some mental illness like she trying to talk about him. She's more mentally ill than he is, or he was. But that sadistic energy gone. Them spells and shit to put on people and to fuck people up and to make them sick and to make them tired and to be harassed in their dreams and all sorts of stuff. She was doing that to him to try to cloak herself as, see, I'm the one, I'm supposed to be the one. I had somebody come on one of my TikTok lives and made a comment, my mommy said my daddy is going to a witch. And what I now realize about that is that I believe that statement was from somebody that just wasn't bold enough to reveal or talk to me or come straight to me to reveal one of his people, because he had many, that it could have been a baby mama, another baby mama of his that he never told me about. Okay. And whatever kid they had together had a dream. Okay. But that dream was not about me. That dream was about my sister. She was the dark witch. Okay. Now, as I move forward, and I'm telling you guys about how I started getting concerned a couple of months before I left Sodom, I told my guides that as a result of the energy that I was seeing and the images I was seeing, that I would do something and then I was going to drop it. So I contacted his mother. I wasn't sure, because I'm not in contact with these people. I had gone on with my life. So remember, I went into investigations to find out all sorts of shit. So I had information that I needed to have. So, and part of the investigations, I got his number, his mother's number, a couple of numbers. So I contacted her and I left a message. And I said who I was, and I just simply said, I said, hey, Risa, this is Brandy. You may not remember me. I said, but I used to date your son over a year ago. I said, I was the one. I came to the house, to your house. I brought him to your house so that he can get some food and things for him and his dad. And you gave me some stuff because she had given me some clothes and some stuff like that. I said, I'm not dealing. I said, but I'm concerned about your son. And I thought that I should at least reach out to you as his mother. I said, because I would want someone to do that for me. I said, I'm concerned that he is caught up and he is entangled in some toxic shit. I didn't say shit. I said toxic stuff on her voice. I said some toxic stuff with my family. And he could be harmed, hurt. I'm not sure. I said, but, if you want to check on your own son, something that's brought to your awareness and so that you would know and you can do what you need to do with it. Okay. So I tried to do my part in that way, in the name of if there was some injustice and, somebody tried to kill him and throw his body in a river. Like, people crazy, nuts. I didn't know what the hell, And then after that, I just dropped it, continued to drop it. And I'm like, that's not on me, team. This may be his judgment. I can't, I don't know what y'all want me to do about that. I'm not dealing with this kind of shit. I remove myself from karmics and my family and so forth for a reason. I can't stop other people. If they want to continue, that's their free will to do, man. But, if they end up getting themselves hurt, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to ensure that I don't. I have to ensure that me and my son don't. I have to ensure that we don't get caught up, in dealing with people that have lost every ounce of human sense in the upstairs region and willing to do any wicked, heinous thing to somebody. I don't have time for that. I'm being guided and I'm able to take the guidance and let go and detach and move on, even if it means I start from scratch. I'd rather start from scratch than my ass be on my back behind trying to hold on to some motherfuckers, and they putting the woo-woo, the juju and the fucking shit. No, I will have to trust. And so as we get to the present day, this is what happened in my journey, my twin flame journey. And these things do actually happen. So if this is not resonating with you, then chances are you ain't on one. And that's okay. But as I moved away out of Sodom, it became clearer and clearer. I want to also just send a little bit of an encouragement because it's like I started my life over. I was willing to take a leap of faith. I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have everything, guys. It just, this journey is you really got to tap in and trust. And I was met with such beautiful blessings and surprises that I wasn't expecting. I didn't know how me and my son, was going to get the things we needed for the new home, because I was like, I'll start from scratch. I don't care. I was like, I'll rebuild everything. And I was concerned, but I was like, I'd rather just go than try to stay because of being comfortable, but I'm being stalked by lunatics. I'm being stalked by my own family, trying to do shit to me, trying to plot my movement, trying to set me up because they're sick. They're gone. And like I said, I don't have a problem with getting restraining orders. I promise you this. If ever I find out or sense or see they're trying to land themselves where I am, I will be getting restraining orders against them. I do not want them anywhere near me and my son. And unfortunately, the sad part is this includes my family. And the reason why my other family members, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because none of my other family members have taken any initiatives to connect with me or say anything or speak any truths or any of that. So that gives me the appearance that they're still caught up in my sister's lies, they're still under the illusions, or they're equally fucked up. And if that be the case, then they too don't need to be nowhere near me and my son. And if I get the sense that they're showing up in the vicinity of where I am, I will be getting restraining orders. And collective, I'm saying this so that you all can know that this is a part of the journey. You don't just sit and say divinely protected only. Yes, we're divinely protected, but divinely protected with sense and following your divine guidance. If your guidance is telling you to get the hell on so these motherfuckers can't kill you, it will serve you well to do that. A lot of people have to learn that you can't sit in Karmicville and karmic hell and stay connected to karmics and give money to karmics and take care of karmics and lie for karmics and protect karmics and be silent for karmics and think that you're not going to pay, because you are. Especially the more knowledgeable about something that you are. So empower yourself, you guys. Okay? Speak your truths. Know that this stuff happens. Follow your higher guidance system. And in terms of counterparts, divine feminine or divine masculine, no matter which one you are. Okay? But it's an individual yet same. We have to walk out and do our own healing journey. We can't do it for one another in these dynamics. And we can't choose it for one another. The call is to the self and to balance the feminine masculine in ourselves first. Okay? And to allow, to not attach. Okay? Allow. If the counterparts aren't, if they don't want it, that's okay. But whatever that process, we have to let it go. Okay, because you can fuck up your life trying to hang on to a label. You can fuck up your life trying to hang on to a label. Did y'all hear that? It's my twin flame. It's my twin flame. You can fuck up your life. You can miss out on life. You can miss out on happiness. You can miss out on all the beautiful things that is meant for you by hanging on to a label. It's not meant for toxicity. That was only to serve as healing and catapulting and awakening dark nights of the soul so we can wake up and heal and transform. But in terms of the actual real union, it's never meant to stay in lower vibration, to stay in karmic energy, karmic frequency, toxicities, addictions, 3D grid, unawakened, driven by lust and passion. If all of that is still there, these unions will never work. And you can't make them work. You got to allow people, guys. If you stay on yours, you can manifest what you want. You can manifest high-level soulmates and commitments that's on your frequency and that's ready, and that you don't gotta fucking get, wait till they die and come back again. And you know what I'm saying? It's okay. All right. So anyway, I know this was a 2-hour discussion. It is going to serve somebody. I know it. I already got 2 likes. And if it's only these 2 people that it has helped, I'm grateful. It served. Somebody needed to hear the truth. And I will continue as I'm guided to reveal more about my story. Okay. Truths, more about my family, more about this twin flame journey. I'm also going to reveal more about clergy. Okay, I'm going to start telling my guys is that the more people fuck with you, the more we're going to release you to tell on motherfuckers. The more they fuck with you, the more they speak negative on your name, the more they speak negative on what you do, the more they steal from you, the more they cyber stalk you, the more they report you We're releasing you to call them out. So this is going into people of my past, outside of my counterpart. Yep. People that I've gone to church with, people that I was in groups with in social media. Absolutely. People that I've had exchanges with in the religious community. So they're hitting every angle. They're going to have me call out spiritualists, people that I've had exchanges with. Okay? The more they fuck with me, I'm told, the more I'm going to be released to speak truths and facts and things that have happened and things that are happening to them. If they don't leave me and my son, this twin flame journey, bloom from within love, my life alone. No more biting, tongue biting, no more silence. And this is not the same thing as them. This is defense. If individuals refuse to go on with their lives and get a life and heal and spend their time, money, effort, energy, intentions, and words and deeds towards their own shit, their own lives, I have a right to stand and defend, which means I have a right to speak about the shit they're doing. And I have a right to speak about what they are doing to me. Okay? This is not about a challenge and a battle of, at least from on my side, of trying to convince people to believe a certain belief system. That is a futile journey and fight. A lot of folks in the religious sector don't understand that. It's futile because they're still locked into the 3D matrix grid version of what really is source. But this is about respect. My guys are tired of it. There has been too much disrespectful energy towards me and my son. Violation of our boundaries. Violation of our rights. Violations of our energy. There's been too many violations and they're sick of it. They're pissed and people are going to pay more and more and more hell if they don't wake the fuck up. Everything around them is going to start getting crazier and crazier if they don't wake the fuck up. My guys are like, look, you ain't gotta like Brandy. You have a right to who you are in your path too. You don't have to like her, you don't have to agree, but it will serve you. That if you don't want your life destroyed in this lifetime, it will serve you to leave her alone. It will serve you to keep your mouth off of what you have no knowledge and understanding about. It will serve you to go on about your business. Because it's going to get realer and realer. It ain't going to have nothing to do with anything that I do. It's going to have everything to do with what Source is allowing. And my spiritual guidance team is enacting as a result of motherfuckers continuing to violate my privacy. Violate my son's privacy, to violating our energy fields. Dark Witches is really fencing to have a nice little fun surprise. All of that toxic shit they were willing to do and all that toxic shit they received money for, that shit is fencing to sit on their head. The more they do it. And that's what this thing is about. And collective, I want you all to feel that you have the right. Don't let people try to tell you that you're not loving because you stand up for yourself. That you don't have a right to be upset. Yes, you do. If you were violated, yes, the fuck you do. If somebody was wishing death on you, yes, the fuck you do. If somebody was trying to declare toxic low vibrations over you and your son, yes, the fuck you do. If people were stealing from you, yes, the fuck you do. You heal, but you have a right to be angry. See, that's a conditioning to get people in this passive mind, believing that it's okay to just sit and be abused. That's a matrix program version of godly. Or to just sit and be used. That's what the distortions, the versions in scriptures, that's distortions. To keep people thinking that it's cool and okay, and that it's pious and pure and loving, to just sit and sit and sit like a sitting duck, letting people do toxic shit and just say, oh, light to you. No, ain't no light to you. Ask yourself this question. If that's the case, then why the hell are they not well? Do you see where I'm going with this shit? They sending all that distorted energy out, right? And you go, love and light. Well, what's happening? Because some won't be, and it's an illusion of us to think that everybody will do that. You don't have to take vengeance in your hands. You simply have a right to defend yourself and speak your truth and return their fuck shit to them. Because half of the problem with all these types of energies and people is they run from karma for as long as they can. By hiding behind religion, by hiding behind false spirituality, by getting people to feel sorry for them, by lying, by all sorts of stuff, so that people will have pity on them after they done wreaked havoc in other people's lives that didn't deserve it. So it's a warning. Don't try to be Captain Save a karmic motherfucker, because you're going to pay for it. Disconnect yourself from the situation if you don't want to equally receive what the hell they're receiving. Likewise for you beautiful collective, okay? We're in that full moon energy. All of this is running high today. Tomorrow is the actual full moon. This is the kind of stuff we want to release. But we also have to sit with it and see it and get real with it and set the intentions, right? The moment we yield into this and start letting more and more shit go that's not serving in a high vibrational way, the more and more we'll see how we feel better and better. The more and more we'll see how we're able to attract the higher vibrational side of life and not just the lower all the time. And even as a healer or an empath, as we get stronger and realize the boundaries and realize that it's not our job here to take on other people's emotions and their lack of ability to manage their own, then we'll feel free, we'll feel strong, we'll feel like we're in our own energy. Because the ironic thing about all this type of stuff is narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths, karmics, they're notorious for playing the victim, and they're notorious for acting like their targets are codependent when they themselves were the ones the entire time that's codependent, because they are energy vampires and they are codependent on other people's energy. Not just their resources, other people's energy. Okay, especially if it's a divine. This is why they get so pissed when divines disconnect. Start paying attention. This is why they get so activated and so pissed when divines separate themselves from them, because divines have the real shit. They got the good shit. They got that high frequency, okay, that you can't just find in any Joe Schmo down the street, especially if you're living in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. So that's just why it's highly addictive. When they find a divine being, they try to hold on for dear life so they can energy feed off of them and suck the living life out of you. and keep you on a hamster loop while they're benefiting from you. Wake up. Okay? All right, you guys. So I do have a reading coming. So bear with me. I'll probably be doing on the TikTok though. I'll see if I can do them simultaneously. I really don't like doing that, but I think I'm going to see if I can do them simultaneously so I don't have to do back and forth and upload and all that. Um, we're on day 3 of 3 more days of positivity, and I'm guided to do a reading for you all based on a personal reading that I did for myself last night. It was a specific layout, specific questions, and cards that I was asked to use, and I think I'm being guided to do that for you all to, just see the energies where your guides are trying to get you into positivity and whatever is needing to be released with this full moon. I'm going to tie that in to help align, get into neutral and align with the positivity, the higher vibrations, the good, and all of that. Okay. All right, you guys. So I hope this helped in some way. Love and light. Namaste.